Hi everybody, welcome back. So another non-rye day. I'm going to be cooking today. And today we're going to do goat chops with garlic mashed potatoes and asparagus. And I'm packing in to do this. I've got freeze-dried goat chops and freeze-dried asparagus. And there's a couple options you could do. You could also, if you don't want to cook potatoes, you could do sour cream and chive. This is freeze-dried, of course. Just add water, it's ready to go. But we're going to do potato. So we're going to do potato with garlic. And we're going to add some butter with that. And I brought in some freeze-dried cow's milk to add to make it a little more creamier on those mashed potatoes. And so we're going to cut up the potatoes, get those going. Goat chops, I've got to put some water in this bag and let it rehydrate. It's going to take a little bit, so take care of that. Do this first, and then we'll start working on the potatoes. And then for generally, you want to do a marinade with this, but if you don't have a refrigerator, so we're going to have to be a little creative with this. So we're going to do lemon zest with a little oregano and some olive oil and a little bit of the shallot, and we're going to mix that up, and that'll be basically the rub for the goat chops. And that should be it. This should be pretty quick to put this together. And like I said, you can benefit for doing it this way is you can pack in chops for a couple days and use them whenever you want. Same thing with the asparagus. You can use them or not, or if you're swinging into town, you can grab some fresh asparagus. And we'll probably end up using just half of this in this bag. It's quite a bit. So yeah, we'll start off with, like I said, we'll put some water in this bag, let it set for a little bit, and while that's setting, we'll start boiling the potatoes, cut the potatoes. All right, so I've got the potatoes cut, probably like 1/2 inch. Like I said, the smaller you cut potatoes, the faster they're gonna cook. So we're gonna start this real quick, get those potatoes going. Still working on these a little bit. How you're going to tell is you just put the water in the bag and you're make sure everything's getting soft. And how you'll know that you missed a spot is, well, when you open it up or you cut open, it'll be like a dry spot. So, yeah. Okay, so now potatoes are still boiling a little bit. We're going to work on the marinade for the chops. So we're going to use 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to use a little bit of, probably 1/4 of that shallot. And we're going to use, we need a little lemon zest. So there's a couple of ways you could do this. If you don't have a lemon, a peeler, I guess a zest, what they call zest, you don't really need any of that stuff. You could use a fork. You could use a knife. Now, if you go too deep, it's going to be bitter. I just want a little bit. Off the top. Like I said, you're just going to chop this up really small. All right, looks close, right? Could be a lot finer, but you only have so much time. So we're gonna put all this in a Ziploc bag. And then we're gonna add some olive oil to this bag. Probably about a 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce, not very much. Do your best, chop it up the best you can. And now we're going to add a little oregano to this mix. And maybe just spices are where you want to go. So maybe half what are we talking, teaspoons? So maybe half a teaspoon. Start with that. It really depends on how you want. And those goat chops are pretty much, they're ready to go. So we're going to pull those out of this bag. We're going to throw them in here. Set that aside. And then you're just gonna start moving everything around, get those coated best you can. And we're just going to set this in the shade real quick so it's out of the way, out of the sun. Okay, so we're going to start on the garlic mashed potatoes. Everybody's different, so for me, we're going to start with 1 clove to 1 medium potato. We're going to add in some butter. We've got to drain the water off the potatoes, of course, and we'll see how this goes. So let's get this going real quick. Potatoes are done. Drain the water off. We're going to throw some butter in there. Throw a little salt and pepper. And we're going to add garlic. Start mashing this together. This is when a fork might come in handy. So we're just going to work through all this real quick. So I used butter. Everybody's different. I probably used 1.5 tablespoons of butter. And if you want a little creamer, like I said, you can bring in freeze-dried milk. So we're just going to add just a little bit of this in there. Not very much, because we're doing a small. So we're just going to use, like I said, just a little bit. We're going to sprinkle that in, work that in. Getting close. Yeah, I'm gonna work this for a little bit, maybe like maybe a minute. Test your potatoes as you go, see how you like them. Everybody's different, so those are pretty good. Okay, so we'll throw the lid back on. Potatoes are done. We're gonna work on the asparagus next, and then we'll work on the goat chops and put everything together. So these bags, for example, this asparagus, I'm gonna pull half out. Sometimes I'll just fill this whole thing full of water and just use the bag direct to rehydrate. Asparagus is pretty quick. You could do this the same time you're doing the chops, maybe, I don't know, normally it's like 5 minutes for me for these, 5-10 minutes. It just depends on how cold it is, of course, temperatures and all that stuff. So I threw these in a separate bag, and we're just letting those rehydrate. And then we're gonna cook these here in a minute on the skillet. So everything's coming together. Should be done here in just a few minutes. So how you're gonna know is you're just gonna fill them. You do this enough, you'll know, but they're kind of soft. These are ready to go, so let's fire this up. Throw Throw those on real quick. I like using a little butter. Cook mine. Everybody's a little different. Another windy day, as usual. Probably 2 to 3 minutes to start with. See how you like them. Like I said, everybody's a little different. I like my asparagus a little crispy. And all we're doing is just prepping these. You can put a little salt and pepper on them if you want. I'm going to. Those look done, so we're gonna transfer those to the bowl. Now we're gonna start on the goat chops. So I packed in some olive oil, these little containers. We're gonna add some oil, cook those chops. Let's fire this up. We're gonna try searing these a little bit. If you try to use butter, it's gonna burn too quick, so you got to use olive oil. So bring that temperature up. We're gonna throw these on real quick. And maybe, depending on how thick your chops are, 3 to 4 minutes. We'll start each side and we'll see how this goes. So we're gonna start setting this all up. We're gonna move the mashed potatoes into the bowl. Should be pretty quick. Still got some extra. I'm gonna move those chops over real quick. They look good. They've been setting for a minute. Chops are done. So add just a little salt and pepper. Yep, bugs out here too. And then I like green onion. Green onion's super easy to pack in, so I like green onion. So we're just gonna cut a little bit of this. add this to the mashed potatoes. Comes that wind. Yeah, it's gonna rain on me here soon. Nothing like camping in the rain. All right, so we're gonna add just a little bit of that, and we are done. And so recap on this real quick. We're doing goat chops, garlic mashed potatoes with asparagus. The goat chops and the asparagus were freeze dried, so rehydrated those with water. The goat chops were marinated a little bit with oregano, garlic, lemon peel, shallot, some olive oil. The mashed potatoes were done with butter, a little bit of freeze-dried milk, salt and pepper and garlic. The asparagus was done with butter, salt and pepper. And this is pretty quick to put this together. Goat chops are pretty small, so you'll probably get 3 to 4 bites out of them. And some people will use you could probably use a little Chardonnay in this if you wanted to for a little taste. I didn't. I don't have any with me right now. So yeah, that's it. So the whole concept between putting these meals together, like I said, was to just try to give some ideas out there of just different types of cooking in the backcountry. A lot of it, I do a lot of bike packing on this channel, and sometimes, freeze-dried meals taste pretty good, and like everybody else, sometimes I want a burger or fries, but, when you come into a town sometimes, none of that tastes good, and so a lot of times I'll pack in some of this stuff. This would be one of the meals I'll probably pack in, and like I said, potatoes are easy to find, garlic's easy to find, lemon, all that. You can probably get that most in the town, or just pack some of this in like I've done. So anyways, yeah, that's it.